Welcome to day 5 of the Faculty Development Program on Pedagogical Approaches Digital Tool. Reminder to please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off. Do take special care to avoid presenting your screens. Raise questions to begin. May I now invite Professor Dhanel for the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Najla. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay. Most respected Principal Dr. Rajesh, IPSC Coordinator, Najla, and dear participants. Today is the last day of 5-day faculty development program organized by IQAC MES Kevin College, Valanchery. Today we have an eminent personality. In the last day, Professor Saloni Sinha. She is Assistant Professor of Business Communication, Bulla Institute of Management Technologies, Delhi. I go through the profile of Saloni Sinha. Actually, I've wondered. She associated with so many bodies and so many universities. Actually, only one thing I would like to share here. She secured the first rank in MA from one of the best universities, that is Jawaharlal Nehru University. That is enough to identify the talent of our professor. I welcome you, ma'am, to this function, to this program.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And I welcome our young principal, Dr. Rajesh. He was the master brain of this function. I welcome you, sir, to this function. Also, the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Najla, and the team members of IQAC. They are really the hard workers of this 5-day faculty development program. I also welcome all our participants to the final day of the 5-day faculty development program organized by the IQAC MES Kevin College, Valanchery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Ms. Najla, am I supposed to speak now onwards? Is there anybody sharing something?
Sorry, ma'am. Actually, Dr. Ashraf, principal of Ansar Arabic College, it is one of the mentee colleges of ours under the Paramount scheme. He is chairing the session. I think there is some technical issue with Dr. Najla.
I'll wait for the message. Yes.
Okay, I would like to invite Dr. Ashraf, sir, to chair the session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Respected Principal of MES KVM Valanchery College, Honorable Chief Guest and Resource Person of the Day, Saloni Sinha of the Birla Institute of Management Technology, New Delhi, and the dear participants of this faculty development program. Let all of you a very good day. Today is the final is conducted in association with the Higher Education Council of the Kerala State, and which is also having the patronage of Paramount scheme. Let me first of all express my sense of gratitude to Dr. Rajesh for I'm really happy to chair this session where a very eminent academic, Dr. Saloni Sinha, us on innovative classrooms best practices. As far as I understand, Professor Saloni Sinha is not just an ordinary academic. She is a very renowned personality in the field of innovative teaching. The teaching has gone through a paradigm shift with the digital technology coming into the field of teaching. At least in some of the colleges, the teachers lag behind the students with the technology. The students are really capable of teaching at least some of the techniques given to the teachers. We teachers have to update ourselves with the newer and newer technology of the day. And this, I hope, will go a long way in that direction. Professor Saloni Sinha, who is the Birla Institute of Management Technology, has her own ways of innovative teaching because she uses the theater techniques in the teaching of business communication and corporate effectiveness. Basically, I understand a linguist, and she is honored to have been the translator of the Honorable Prime Minister of, and this is enough to assess Professor Saloni Sinha's capabilities. MES Valancheri College, of course, is blessed with such a resource person to this program. And the part of this final day of this faculty development program will be having a very interesting and innovative session from Professor Saloni Sinha. And let me not prolong matters and be an impediment in between the participants and Professor Saloni Sinha's very valuable lecture. And being the chair of this session, let me heartily invite Professor Saloni Sinha to the class. Thank you, ma'am. Please.
Professor Saloni, I think your mic is muted. Could you just unmute yourself? Yeah.
So thank you so much, Professor Ashraf, and thank you, Najla, for having me over. And I'm really grateful to the IQAC team that you found some of my classroom experiences good enough to be shared with all of you today. And I hope that I will add value of the kind you are looking for. As Sir just mentioned a few of my activities, to begin with, I'm foremost, I love being a teacher first. So every other thing happens. Yes, they are good. Those are great exposures I do experience. But my heart is here when, I meet the students and when I can do things differently. So this is something that I love talking about. So I'm very happy that I have a few examples of my own classroom that I can share today. And I hope it'll add value to all of you. I would like to keep this interactive So if you allow me, I also want a moderator, a blue hatter, because I want somebody to tell me the timing has to be monitored by someone. So otherwise it might just exceed your duration assigned. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all have had your lunch. There must be a lot of, interesting food at home. You're all at home. So food for your stomach, your mind. What about the food for your soul? I hope you all are, nourishing your soul a lot these days. It's not an easy world. It's not easy to cope in this scenario. But sessions like these, when you get to meet so many people, you come back with a freshness. And I think that is going to add more value to these interactions we will have today. As I said, whatever I have experienced, I would love to share with you. So often I would expect some responses in the chat. Whenever we want to know about you more, we will use the chat. So let me start by asking you to write just one word in the chat. Please just write one word and tell me, are you a teacher? Do you call yourself a teacher? Or what is the role that you play as a teacher? So would you like to share on your chat just one word? Are you a teacher? What word? Okay, mentor. Tusharji says mentor. Mentor is the most popular word which is coming through. So people have written, I saw a few of you write mentor. Facilitator. Okay, facilitator. Guide. Guide, okay. So these are the popular words. Scaffolder, okay, mentor, narrator, yes, role model, inspiration, guide, wow, mentor. So these are the words which are synonymous with the word teacher. We all are expected to be friend, mentor, enabler of things. Thank you, all of you, for your beautiful responses. Wow, Miss Mohsina says student. Yes, the teacher is a student. You need to be a lifelong learner to actually remain relevant. So there will be so many of such words which will keep coming to your minds. And as I said, you've given me co-learner. Okay, co-learner, very nice. Okay, now if I say that none of these are correct, would you feel hurt? If I say whatever you have written is not correct, Tushar says, no, it's not. So we may be mentor, facilitator, everything, co-learner, lifelong learner, student for life, everything is fine. But what is it that Robert Frost said? I'm from a literature background. I love bringing in poetry. What did Robert Frost say once? He said, I'm not a teacher, I'm an awakener. I'm an awakener. If I haven't awakened souls, then probably we have not arrived. We have not reached the level of a mentor or facilitator or a student. So we actually are or should be what Robert Frost said, that we are not teachers, we are awakeners. And this is the role I love the most. If I haven't awakened people, if I say I'm a guide, if I haven't shown them the right path, I may be misguiding them too. If I do not walk the talk, I want them to be ethical, but I am not ethical. So obviously, we aren't awakening people. So dear attendees, dear participants and organizers, this is what the session is going to center on. Most of the discussions would be centered on how, with certain activities of mine, I have played the role of an awakener, and for which I need to remain awakened all the time. So I carry a hashtag personality for myself, and I call it Chalo kuch naya kare. This is what, it's in Hindi, so I'll speak the same in English for you. Let's try something new. Let's tread the unknown path. Let's explore the virgin territories. Let's step out of our comfort zones and let's do things differently if you want everyone else to be relevant whenever the world changes. You remain relevant. So, in this current pandemic, the whole world has changed. And yes, Robert Frost did say in The Road Not Traveled. So, this is what I will be focusing upon. How many of you have seen or can recall what are the key words in the new education policy, which just got released a few days back? If you can again put in the chat. If you aren't aware, then all these sessions won't make sense. So a word that stuck in your mind when you saw e-learning. Yes, thank you, Nitya. E-learning. What does the framework say broadly? There are 4 pillars in NEP. There are 4 pillars in the, yes, it will be skill-based. It will be skill-based, application-based. Lots and lots of innovation is expected. Vocational, it has to have a lot of interdisciplinary learning, problem solving. How does one make the students come up to this expectation? Is that the role we are going to play? So I'm keeping the background of NEP today also for discussion, the educative purpose. Also, you will understand why am I here in front of you and how when the new NEP comes, I continue to be relevant as a teacher. And when did this journey start of Chalo Kuch Naya Kare? In the introduction, specifically, 2 things got highlighted about me. One was that there is a lot of theater in my life. So there's a lot of drama. You know, we all are very great drama queens all the time in our society, family, everywhere. But theater has played a big role in my life, and I have also got an opportunity to use it as a very active pedagogy. So that I will share with you. And the other that was mentioned was my role as the translator of Prime Minister's speeches. I'm paneled with them. So whenever they require my services, they invite me. And the most recent one was the Ayodhya speech that I was a part of the core team of translators. Every such experience that I get in my life, I try to open it up for my class. So my first assignment as the translator, I translate his Hindi speeches to English. So when you visit the PIB site, the release that you see over there, we are a part of that team. My first assignment with the Prime Minister office of this translation job was the GST speech. Remember, it was in the midnight of 31st July that it was presented in the Parliament. That was my first real-time translation assignment after getting empaneled. And for the past 3 years, I'm a part of many, but 15th August speech, and these are those coveted days like Ayodhya and all, I was a part of it. Now, I'm not going to talk about that as a big achievement of mine. How this exposure is making me a better teacher. So when I do a translation of the GST speech, it comes straight from the people who have designed it. I'm involved and engrossed in the whole process. So when I translate the speech, I know GST in and out. And this helps me in my class because my classroom discussions become very, very credible. I'm not getting it from any third party. I'm getting it by being a part of it. So what I'm just trying to convey is when you own your own experiences and go deep in your own experiences and you enrich others and build others, only then can you have the students connected with you forever. And you can build their skills a lot. So my translation activity actually started much earlier, very, very early days of my graduation. I had to opt for a vocational course and during my graduation in like 25 years back. At that time, I took a small course of translation, because of which some assignment came to me in 2009 and 10, which was through MHRD, where I was translating glossaries, technical terms. So I've been doing that for the past 10 years. These two milestones brought me into this new. Now, if I am getting such exposures, can I also have my students get similar exposures? So that's why we will talk about theater and other activities. Because I'll keep NEP in front of me, therefore, the 4 pillars, out of which 2, which are very important, are experiential learning, which is learning by doing. If you haven't started that, start doing it. Learning by doing, and they have mentioned it as experiential learning. And the second is, like all of you mentioned, skill and also critical thinking. So there are certain things in the NEP framework which you all must connect with and start from there. So I will first share with you my theater background. So from very early childhood, I've been on stage, and gradually I continued with theater in school. Like we have those drama clubs, and in college also I got introduced to National School of Drama, where I got trained for 3 months, and very eminent people trained us. That became a part of me forever. So every time that I was in a classroom with a student, I'm a communication teacher, so I get all this flexibility to do things differently with them. So theater entered my pedagogy. Now, the biggest question today is that how to keep pace with the current generation. We have to do things which are live, which are active learning, which can't be anymore through slide decks or book chapters, or no, it's not going to work with this generation. They have gone into the mode of visual, audio visual, and active learning, or they are into learning by doing mode. Otherwise, they lose interest. They do not care. Otherwise, you are competing as a teacher with Google. They won't listen to you. They will download something from SlideShare and etc. And they say, I don't need you, ma'am. I really don't need you. Now, I'm a B school faculty right now. And 10 years back, I was teaching in engineering colleges. Biggest challenge was at that time employability. But the bigger challenge was employable youth. Therefore, the one major agenda of all of us, whatever we teach, whichever subject, civics, geography, political science, or chemistry, or whatever, you have to think about, in the classroom, am I nurturing employable people? So awaken them to the requirements. Now you would say theater happens in physical spaces and stage and all is this means that it's over for you. So what will you do now? So I have stories for that as well. Now, the initial examples will all come from theater, and then I will shift to technology as well. As I said, we all have become audiovisual. We all have become more audio. We are reading books? No, we are listening. We are preferring audio content. We are preferring visually rich summaries of books also. Are you creating them? Are you walking the talk? How are you expecting your students to do that when you are not doing that? Now, when suddenly the phase changes and suddenly you're expected to learn new tools and learn new techniques, what do? Do it with the students. Do it with them. Become a member of that learning team. Start afresh. Today, all of us are at the same level as many of our students are. But the students have grown up with technology. So therefore, they're actually advanced. So why not learn from them? So be humble for learning, be honest with learning, and be hardworking. So this 3H principle that I follow for myself, and I tell everyone: be humble, be honest, and be a hard worker to be successful in anything. If you haven't put 100%, nobody is going to actually bother. If you haven't put in your 100%, you've cheated on you yourself. Then how do you think people will trust you? So as a teacher, if you are not an innovator, how do you expect them, the students, to think differently? So I have a small story which connects smaller activities of mine to this new transformation of NEP. You would wonder, what did I do and how am I connected? So I have a tiny story of mine which is a part of this new transformation. The whole country is waiting to see in the next 10 years a huge transformation in the policy. Do things, prove yourself, and influence policy. So don't take it as an excuse that don't blame the tools. Don't blame the people. Don't blame the policymakers. Did you try? So I'll tell you how it all happened, how I have a small story in NEP. In my institute, as I said, I have a theatre background. So when I came to this institute, we have a very active club of theatre and debating. As a club, we have some executive members and we have a performing team which also performs plays for competitions and all. Now, how this has added a lot of value and towards employability and other things, and how I became the innovative teacher or the experimental teacher is because of my students who agreed to be a party to my experiment. Although there will be too many roadblocks, but don't stop. Don't stop. So work, develop something, prove yourself. Today or tomorrow, people will follow you. But then you have to put in that hard work and prove first. Take a lot of people, like-minded people together, design things, deliver that, show it to people as an example, then people will believe. And then it may influence something. So in my institute, we do a lot of theatre, and through theatre, I try to teach my subject. For example, we have our foundation day, and on that day, we have a lot of interesting cultural theatre-based events. Very eminent artists perform here. Now I'm organizing that. So what I do is I will design an assignment based on that, and I will give it to the students who will be in the audience. That will be a live classroom. They will learn things like proxemics, language of space, voice modulation through theatre, body language. So everything that I want to teach in my module, which is verbal and non-verbal communication, they can observe theatre and see this is how it all began. I even used a very lost art form called Dastan Goi. I'll tell you why this became so valuable for my institute. We are Birla Institute of Management Technology with a vision from Birla's, which is all about promoting art and culture along with education and life values. So all that I do, I aligned with the vision of this institute, and I started making the students a part of the learning process and using these events as a live classroom. That was the first innovation that was reported during an accreditation here. Students learned better. They don't like PPTs telling them high tone, low tone, high pitch, low pitch. I'm here to present to all those present over here with a present which will last for all their lives. So I'm going to demonstrate them so they learn. If I write that on the PPT text, no one would attach or connect with the knowledge you wanted to give to them. That knowledge which they should use. So now, this was an interesting way I started doing. I got a lot of flack. Everybody told me, oh, she doesn't teach. She just likes to do events. She just makes students, sit there. And she's not even teaching. So it happened that way. It will happen that way. Now it happened across years that I continued with it. The you have to be courageous to be innovative. You have to take this path and be courageous and fearless, and then remember to just come out with value addition to the institute and also brand your activities. So, what happened was theatre became a part of my classroom and students started enjoying it. The learning process became very interesting. It added to the vision because institute wanted to promote art and culture, so obviously everybody liked it. Gradually, the outcomes were supposed to be evaluated. Now, how was that to be evaluated? Then it got connected to the team which works with me, the students. Every year, they are the ones who get placed first. No matter what, it's been a record on campus. That became evaluation of the activity that I used to do. They would ask me, why is it that students of your club or your conduit, they are the ones always getting placed first? Because they were starting to assimilate everything in their behavior, conduct, and they started anchoring, they started writing poetry for their own scripts. They were owning the whole thing. So it all started with ownership. They owned it. And together we started doing this, and therefore I started with this Chalo Kuch Naya Kare. So with the students, and I call them ants and bees. They're busy, absolutely very methodical, very focused, and they build each other. They started getting placed first. That's what the institute wants. The best of placements came to my team. Highest of package on campus, again, my team members. Now people started taking it into consideration that there must be something differently done. Therefore, their learning outcomes are such, and their level and their quality got enhanced. Story which reached many people who used to come here and watch these plays and meet my team. And I started posting about it on Facebook. In one of such days, a team from MHRD was also here and they heard about it. When the draft NEP came, then there were comments being asked. So some people came to our campus and they interviewed us. We mentioned about theatre and all our activities. And last year, I introduced my own elective, corporate effectiveness through theatre techniques. What do they learn while performing theatre? Going lean with whatever resources they have, voice modulation, attitude, time management. So all this resilience, all the skills. Now you would say that your corporate effectiveness, fine, it went well, it was successful, so you are sitting here and sharing it like a success story. What happens now? Now we are virtual, now we are digital, now what? What will you do? So I'll tell you. Digital theatre started. We didn't stop. Everything went digital. Now what did we do? We are being mentored by one of the very leading theatre club, and our plays are being performed with them as mentorship. So what I mean to say is reinvent. If you aren't, then your art will get lost. Then I won't have any success story to share with you after my last session. Similarly, anybody here who teaches responsible business? You can type it in the chat. Do you teach responsible business subject? Anybody who teaches sustainability or something? You could put it in chat if you, or you can unmute and speak if you're allowed to. I'm a teacher of communication. Yes, Pragya ma'am says business sustainability. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how do you teach SDGs? How do you teach sustainable development goals?
Well, it was a very short-term workshop wherein we actually went through the social responsibility and sustainability, and along with that, so the emphasis was more on the social responsibility. But yes, we went with the premises of there is sufficient for everybody's need and not enough for everybody's greed, and that is where we actually built our goals around how to teach students with different different, different facets of sustainable development.
Very nice. So there are 17 sustainable development goals, and they should be a part of all the subjects, whatever you teach. There should be a lot of value inculcation in your classes. Now, ma'am, this is, again, I'll continue in chat. Ma'am, do you or have you ever teaching this through theater?
Well, I'm a part of business communications team, and this was a special workshop which I had conducted. So yeah, theatrics has been, but not really the SDGs. We haven't tried so far. But yes, to help students come out of their reticent, behavior and out of their shyness, we have many a times, we have actually conducted these theatric workshops 1 month long, and we went about, but then it was much more free flow rather than centered around any of the sustainable goals or something like that. We haven't
Okay.
tried that
Now,
so far.
thank you so much. Now, let me tell you how my club activities moved beyond my business communication classes and started addressing Indian art and culture, subjects like sustainability, sustainable development goals. Every year we organize. So the responsibility, now this is where I thought this was essential. So whatever subject you teach, let's say you're teaching about H2O, then it isn't just a prescriptive knowledge that you can say this is the formula and this is how this is water and this is the way you write about water is H2O. You have to also add more about save water, water harvesting, anything. It can be just a small trigger, a small example. In my theater classes, we were doing a lot of things, and one of the annual event was a competition, which is a big fest called the Majlis Fest. 2 years back, I started integrating. It was essential that they all also become socially responsible. So every year they had to deliver a project on social responsibility. These are all just club activities. We had this annual fest. So what did we do? We started educating people about SDGs through our sustainable development, theater fest, and this was taken outside the classroom. So teachers, sometimes it'll be difficult, but if we are talking about experiential learning, it cannot happen in the four walls. You have to step out. So we stepped out of not only our classroom, but also our campus. And at the same time, at 4 different locations, we have theme-based series of street plays wherein our students get to learn about SDGs and they own the responsibility of awakening the community towards SDGs and why every one of us should know about public health, about sanitation, about water, about partnership, and quality of life, and everything. Now, I did it as an event, but when these students were sitting in the classroom where responsible business was being taught, they were the ones who were very promptly adding in the class discussion. And everybody asked them, I haven't taught this. How did you know? They said, we have learned it because we were the ones who took the responsibility of educating the community, the society about these sustainable development goals. So it's not my subject, and innovation in my subject, it will have a ripple effect in any and every other subject they will be learning. And theater can not only teach values or communication skills, it will teach a lot of things about literature, culture, art, subjects. Maths can also be taught through theater. So these examples were shared by with the MHRD team. It was noted in the comments. It was presented in the discussion when NAP was finalized. And if you have gone through NAP, here is my tiny story. We were also contributing with examples. It did not come all of a sudden, 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years of convincing people that let me do this, it will work in our favor. So it cannot happen in a day. So these are the innovations that one can do. Change your pedagogy, change the song to change the dance. Change the song to change the dance. All of us will have to do things differently. Everybody wants something unique. So this is something which I thought I'll let you know about. Theatre can be a part of any classroom, let me tell you. The best part is that it tells students to come out of their comfort zones. It will enhance their presentations, it will enhance their conduct, etiquette, articulation, everything, presence. Today, all of us are digital. Look at us. We are kind of confined to this frame, just this much. If my eyes don't smile, you see how we are? Like this. All that is now possible is speaking with the eye. No? If my eyes don't smile, you will never get to see my smile now. So imagine how important it is for all of us to start thinking of how to become very articulate only this much. Only in this much sometimes. So you are now confined to a frame. You were never trained to be expressive in this manner, but you can. And you can also enable your own learners group to emulate you. So you have to walk the talk. That's why if I have to teach a new tool to the students, I make them my mentors. So when 20 years back we were teachers, we had only chalk and talk. And then came OHPs, right? Transparencies, we used to write on transparencies and then we used to display it. Then we had this PPT, MS PPT. So all of us, we started learning things so soon. In the last 3 months, how much have we learned? So how many of you have learned a new presentation tool or a new technology to become effective teachers? Can you put in the names of a few tools that you learned in the last 3 months? Quickly. You can mention it here. So if you don't step out, if you don't leave your comfort zone, how? Google Classroom, ma'am is already using LMS, Google Classroom, Zoom and Meet, Google Classroom. Okay, those who have used Meet, those who have used Google Classroom, have you used Jamboard? Since I am responsible for employability, no. Edmond, okay, yes, no. Teaching method has also changed, yes. Yeah, okay. Now, I spoke about theatre, I spoke about employability. Now, I'm responsible for making my students employable. So, theatre was not a part only here. Even much earlier in another college, I was teaching human values, the subject, human values. And I told my students on day one that this is not a subject that I can teach. This is a subject that has to come into a habit and in your behavior. So we'll have to go out and do things. We have to serve. Now there's something called service learning. Service learning is another way to involve people in community. Now NEP talks about participation and community building through teaching. Or your new policy actually emphasizes upon this, that education should build communities, it should build people, it should build projects to improve the conditions of life. Therefore, problem solving and critical thinking in innovation happens later. Unless you own not only yourself but the people around you, none of your innovation will be successful. Let me tell you very honestly. If it hasn't transformed the lives of people in a positive way, if your education hasn't developed people, then you have failed as a teacher, honestly. So service learning was something which you don't hear in India. In the Western world, it is integrated in education system. Everyone has to connect with a social problem and solve it. Like we have enactors and other such things. So in my human values class, I introduced activities. I said, let's go out and serve people. So first we planted trees and we talked about climate change, ecology, environment, and safety and all that. Then I launched a campaign with them and I called it CARES. The college is GNIT, so I call it GNIT CARES, creating aware and responsible engineers for society. There will be engineers, they may innovate, but their products may have very high carbon footprint, or they may be using harming the environment. So if you tell them no, you have to be a responsible engineer. Because of this campaign, all the students started going out to old age homes. We served people in old age homes. We still do that. For the last 10 years, that is an established NGO now. All the students are serving community. They are the ones who get placed first. Again, they got awards. And when they went to the old age homes, they realized the lives of people who are in old age homes is sad, very, very sad. Therefore, they started thinking of how to make their life better. Somebody brought in projects of art for healing. Somebody brought in music for them. Somebody brought in an app for them to connect with, things. So this is the way innovation happened for the service of others. So service learning can also be a very important part of your pedagogy. Here in BIMTech, Najila would remember we met earlier once in a program. I have had an opportunity to deliver a life skills education program for village girls. And it was a whole 1-year program in which there were some 46 to 48 students who became volunteers. Today, it's one of the biggest projects of our institute. The students learned a lot. They made short films that we can use during my training in the village. They made English classrooms, very interactive. They brought in theater there as well. So what I'm trying to say is innovation doesn't mean designing an app or a product or something. No, not a tool. Innovation is the way you deliver, engaging way that you deliver, and to which you add ownership. Make your students owners. Give them and ingrain in them sense of responsibility. Your education is for others. You are being educated so that you can educate others. So through the life skills program, students started teaching, and therefore there were more such activities that continue. So service learning. Now, as I said, remember I said first you start doing things. Once it starts showing some impact, it might influence a policy. So it happened the same way. We had volunteers, and these volunteers, they didn't ask for credits, they didn't ask for marks. They said, why are we doing? No, they didn't. They were selflessly serving. And then the next year, we introduced rural immersion program as a policy, India meets Bharat, which you hear in NEP also. They're talking about India and Bharat coming at the same level. We did it 3 years back. We have a policy now where every student has to spend 10 hours in a project in the village and try and get some baseline survey or do something, educate. So insurance students developed street theater, and they went to the village and they educated people about insurance through theater. So that's how it is. Innovation is not technology or not anything else. It's designing your way of delivery, which is inclusive with a high sense of ownership, belongingness, commitment, and application of your exposure for others. Now, you would say that why is it that those who are a part of the theater group get placed first? So I am a trainer, researcher, corporate consultancies and all we do. One of the time when I got an opportunity to train BFI professionals of Nepal, banking and finance and insurance professionals of Nepal, I was given the topic team building. Team building, I thought, wow, I'll use theater as a pedagogy. And who will I have as my assistant? My own team member who is from the theater group, plus a student who has an aspiration to be a part of the HR world, HR, human resource, which means when he enters the corporate, he will also be asked to execute such training programs. So I made him my assistant. Remember, it's not allowed. Teachers taking a student to a training program, not allowed. I said, sorry, but I need them there. So they came. He twice my was my co-trainer or assistant, and we delivered a training program using theater techniques on team building. It helped them in the corporate world because they put it in their CV. And do you know, we have a LinkedIn trending story of his. So if you give them such value additions, of course they will be the most employable people around you. Give them that ownership. So your innovation will be very difficult to achieve. I know you will say it's not easy, but please remember, start including and building people. It will have a beautiful synergy around, and that will tell everybody else that this was something that was required, valuable for the institute. Branding your event is again very important. Collaborate. So I use poetry to teach a lot of things, and even in my club, poetry became a part. So we are soon going to introduce podcasts. I collaborated with Amar Ujala, which is a leading daily. Now my event got branded. Theater. I included a very famous group called Asmita Theatre Group. They are very, very famous. We got a collaboration. Now that's branding of your event, which also enhanced the institute branding. So you should think of an approach which is not just for you or your subject or your students and your class. So innovations have to be aligned with the vision. So BIMTech has a vision of community work. It has a vision of art and culture. So these things were gradually accepted. Many of you are in research. All of you will be worried about your APIs, and all of you want your incentives. All of you have to publish in UGC CARE and Scopus, and unless you do that, you won't get your increments, right? Say yes for a Y for a yes and N for a no. Don't you care about research? You do. Don't you want your incentives? Yes. Najila says yes. Of course, everybody wants. Who doesn't? Then you say we struggle. We can't. We don't get time. We have admin work and this and that. Well, can't you make research of pedagogy in one of your topics? I did that. I was able to motivate a professor, and both of us designed, and I offered a module by research. So what did we do? We designed something which we, thought that we could in the future publish something. So I started bringing in a lot of such activities which required academic writing, because that's again one of my agenda, because they have to all write well, and that's what I have to teach. So you make them write and give them an incentive that if you write well, it will get published. So I was handling editorial of my institute at some time. So what I did was I told them, write. So we offered a module by research. We researched with the students, and we have a paper already accepted in a conference with the students. So I wouldn't be unethical, and I wouldn't just say it's my paper. No, it's the students' effort. So we all are writing a paper together. It's going in the conference. It'll get me my incentive. It'll prove them to be better writers. They then don't have to say that I am very good in writing. They just have that credible conference paper, presentation, or published, and that's credible work. You don't have to say I write well. You have to show that this is the quality. So if you nurture your classroom like this, giving them such opportunities and showcasing their talent at the right platforms, it draws from your own background. So we got articles published in magazines, we got them blogs. Some of them got awards for their write-ups. Some of them won story writing competitions. So everything was because I included that activity as an assignment in the class. So similarly, I will tell you how one of our events also became very successful when I have to teach intercultural business communication also. Here, I have used a pedagogy of event. So competition. I converted the whole module into a competition, a contest. And what did I do last year? I included the assignment on 3 very sensitive topics like gender divide, digital divide, and generational divide. Geriatrics and palliative, which you all will also connect with. I repeat, this happened early this year. That assignment was about intercultural chemistry. How can you enhance your cross-cultural chemistry? The first edition was a year back. I called it Omniglots. That is, I want every student of ours to be very easily adaptable to any culture, any language. So that was the intention, very catchy name. So I came up with, we have ambassadors as judges. We have very eminent people from different countries who become the judge. These students, I designed the assignment in such a way that they explore another country. This time I gave them digital divide, generational divide, and gender divide, in which I also motivated them to explore transgenders, the challenges in different parts of the country. We assigned them countries. They explored. Do you know that many of the students in this current scenario in the pandemic world, many of the students said that we understood the challenges of those who are not getting the support of technology currently, and we want to do something for them because they understood that digital divide is not making many of the facilities accessible to the community. Similarly, they adapted to the new technology very well because their mode of submission was e-newsletters and video newsletters. So they researched, they created e-newsletters, and they were all digital. So their digital quotient, their technical understanding of tools and all, creating a very attractive content in 3 to 5 minutes, they were doing it. So today, in the classrooms, they don't face any problem. Many of them went on exchange program. When they went to these countries, which were assigned, they were like, ma'am, we knew so much about the country because we created such infographics, such reports that we came up with, the videos that we made, we used it for educating others about the culture of that country. This has been reported as an innovative practice by my institute because we are in the process of global accreditation. And 2 editions have actually enhanced the international business students' understanding of not only my subject and my module, but this year we put in this similar contest for another subject, which was doing business. So again, I repeat, all of us have to think not only of our subject, but do things which will be relevant wherever you put it. Like salt, or like potato. Any vegetable you put in, potato will work. So even if the world goes through this curveball and you have this pandemic world to face and to cope with, you are relevant and you're comfortable. Because you've done it all. Because you're relevant. Because you have those skills which are of the future. So I don't face problems with technology. Because none of my students face problems. Because we built each other. So what did I do? In the presentation skills class last year, 6 groups, I told them explore 6 new tools. So 2 of my sections in the college have become trainers for others. So they have 6 presentation tools. PowerPoint is banned in my class for many years. We don't use PowerPoint. It's when 60 students know new tools. Imagine when the whole college has started depending on them. And what beautiful outcome was when this year during an internship, one of the weakest student of my class in presentation skills shared her feedback in which her internship mentor said, what an amazing presentation you gave using infographics. Will you teach me? The industry mentor is telling this girl, will you teach me the new tool? And this is happening during pandemic because her internship was now. And remember, this is the girl who was the weakest in my class. And today, she's the most valuable. So what I mean to say is, innovations is what you hear in your mind as something new, something different, which will solve a problem. Yes, but it has to have a horizon which can assimilate many, many, many topics. It becomes relevant. In any subject now, if you take this assignment, it will become very relevant. So, how did this help students? If somebody liked music, they could actually we have used songs in our classes to teach a topic. People will say, "अरे वो तो गाने सुनाती है, वो क्या पढ़ाती है?" I faced it. But it's because I have faced it all that I'm in front of you. That Najla felt that I could share something with you. So my innovations have had this DNA of building people, building communities, building the skills. So just imagine if I have so many students in empowering me, only then I'm here in front of you. Otherwise, who would be even wanting to listen to me? Or who would even fish out from this whole social media world about what I do? So create opportunities for yourself. Become a learner, like all of you said, we should be students. I think you have all the facility. We are very blessed with internet and everything. Which new tool have you learned? You said, many of you said Google Classroom, Meet, we all are using it. Currently, something that I'm doing right now, I want to share with you. I hope I have a few, we have some more time. So I'll tell you something quickly. My subject is business communication here, right? And also theater. So currently, I'm teaching business communication, which is totally focused on placement orientation, okay? Placement orientation. In placement orientation, one of the very important placement processes, group discussions, isn't it? Those who are communication faculty would face the challenge. Now what to do? Industry will continue, it's a placement season. Industry will continue with group discussion. Students are not sitting in front of me. How to give them feedback, how to train them, how to make them good. Now, I used 2 features of Google. My classes are again talk of the town in my campus because their quality of interaction has increased a lot in the last few weeks. The reason being, in group discussions, what do? Group discussions are very important for placement, isn't it? Even if you're teaching electrical or electronics or chemistry or whatever, ultimately the student has to face the recruiter with this GD skill, and you say you have to talk, you have to share your critical mind, you have to impress the recruiter, you have to get the job. Everybody is pushing them into that, but you're not telling him what to do about it and how to build in a subtle way. If you start drilling into the head, read, who's going to read? Do you read? Do you read? Honestly, we don't. We don't feel like reading so much other than what is required. Don't you think so? So what happened in this current trimester, which is going on right now, in Google Meet, we have options of Google Classroom comment section, where we can also post assignments and everything. I'm sure you all are exploring. As a teacher, be totally immersed in the tool. Don't miss out even one feature. Know it in and out. If you haven't known the tool enough, you won't be able to use it very optimally during your teaching. So in Google Classroom, in group discussions, I need them to read, articulate, opinionate, and share all these comments, their own perspectives. So what I did was, using Google Classroom, I initiated the typical video. GD is on because I have 12 students or 10 students. I give them a topic and they are all talking. So I can only see this much. And I don't know whether they're wearing munda or whether they're wearing Bermudas, but here they're perfect. So I'm okay. Yeah. He has the skill to come up successfully. GD is impressing. His virtual presence is good. Speaking voice is good. But then what to say? How to say? What will the student and how will the student speak? They have to have very good content. How do they organize their thoughts? Now, what happened was, how do I ensure that they're reading? How do I ensure? So what I did was, if you allow me, I'll just share this screen with you for a few minutes. You can observe. I use two things. One, the Google Classroom assignment and comment section, and two, the Google Jamboard. Both of these are enhancing the skills of my students. How? In Google Jamboard, they have very limited space and limitation of characters and words. So they can write concisely, which means I can train them how to speak to the point and crisply using Jamboard. But the Google Classroom comment allows them to elaborate, which means I can allow them to talk. So I took a topic, let's say, Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, brutal or brilliant. So I found a wonderful article and I posted it in Google Classroom. And I asked the students, what do you think? Brutal? Or so it all goes beyond the classroom, by the way. You have to invest that time. Now the students got excited and they started sharing over there. So the whole comment section is full of students, and I started a chain. So I said, once you have posted a comment, nominate someone from the class. When I nominate, after my comment, I nominate Najila, or I nominate Shanavas or Shamla, and that person has to carry forward the chain. Now it's become a responsibility of the student. Now remember, it doesn't carry marks, but still the students feel very responsible. Oh my God, on a platform, my name is mentioned. If I miss it, I'm a defaulter. I'm not awarding them marks. They're not here for marks. So don't think, teachers, that you can pull the student to your classroom for attendance or marks. Remember this. You cannot motivate students to attend your class for marks and for attendance, for value addition, for learning, for ownership, for my reputation. So there's a lot of reputation management that people do. Now it's there in that virtual space saying Shreya will answer the next. And then Shreya has to answer. Shreya takes it on her that she comes up with the best answer because it's there in the, it will be recorded. All our digital world has virtual footprints you can't erase. Even if you delete, it will be there far away somewhere. So even you as a teacher, be very careful of what you put there because it remains there. So now the students started getting excited and that relay is happening and I'm enjoying it a lot. So the two things that worked for me was Google comment section and the Jamboard section. Jamboard worked very well for me. I'll try and show you some Jamboard here. Yeah, let me quickly share Jamboard for you. Just see the example of a Jamboard first, okay? Now, what do you see on the screen? Are you able to see on the screen?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, that is visible.
You see a lot of post-its, sticky notes?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you go on this, you will find in G Suite, you will find Google Classroom, podcast and everything. You will go down there, you will find Jamboard. Have you used it? Have you used Keep? These are two very useful tools I'll share just now. So here is a Jamboard, okay? I'll just open this for you. All right. Now I create a new Jamboard. And this Jamboard, okay. Now here it is. If you have any option to go to your own Gmails, you can also click one. You open a new Jamboard and you can create fresh one. So now let me show you. Here is a controversial GD Jamboard. How did this help? Let me just, it'll take a few seconds to open. I'm waiting for it to open. Why I use Jamboard was, in a class, I have 60 students. So every session I have with them, I have 6 different topics. But I want all 60 students to talk on all the topics. So, okay, why is it not open? Yes, okay. So what I ensure is that all of them have discussed all the topics. So I think I have to enable some app here, unfortunately. So let me just go back and, okay. So what if you can make out, here is, I'm using another laptop, not mine, so therefore that app is not opening. But what I'm trying to show you here is a controversial GD, wherein students are voicing their opinion. there are sticky notes, and these are the sticky notes which have limitation of words. They can't speak after a certain number of words. So they start learning to talk in a very concise manner, which is what I want. So it's not about what to speak or how to speak. It is also about how much of what to speak and organizing your thoughts. The students found this very, very engaging, and they were very happy posting these. Similarly, in my class of business communication, I was teaching helical model, and I made the students create this. Now, this has given me an impression that students understand the importance of organizing, layouts, using images, pictures. Now, when I go ahead with my new tool of infographics, the base has already been set using Jamboard. I use Jamboard during my class. I use while I'm teaching. And this is what I use. Google Classroom I use when I'm not teaching, when I'm giving them discussions beyond this. So here is the kind of discussion we had. I asked them to do it on Jamboard. And do we want to post something? So people definitely loved, writing. Now, this was an article I gave to them. It was very interesting because I had to teach them how innovation is important, but not at the cost of anything. How business is important, but not at the cost of any, humanity or others. So it started teaching them what to do with their employees. So this was also about employee treatment of employees and all. It was nice. It was very interactive. And the students posted their comments here. And if I just go there, now look, the entire class is discussing the same topic here. So many. I don't have to teach them now how to speak or how to read. So first I taught them how to mind map using a software, and then this is where the GD continued. Those students who were feeling hesitant while talking during the GD were happy writing here. Because they were not speaking in public, they were happy writing here. This, when I started commenting on these write-ups, they became confident of their thought, of their language, of their articulation, and it showed in their performance.
Sorry to interrupt. Would just like to remind you that we have overstepped the time a little bit. Maybe you could conclude maybe in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so this is just the last example I had to share.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I mean to say is now my topic to teach is group discussion. I have to make them excited for the group discussion. And I have to ensure that they read, they learn a good language, they learn vocabulary, they learn how to speak in a controversial topic, the etiquette. If I make them speak on a video, they become very conscious. So I started using the Google Classroom comments first. I elaborated, let them think and let them think very in a detailed manner, right over there. Writing started giving them the confidence of speaking, and that enhanced their GD skills. When the industry mentor came, this is technology. When the industry mentor came, they started understanding that, oh, this particular class is very different. Why is it that their quality of interaction is so good compared to others? And that's the success of technology. So know your technology in and out if you want the real output. So as a teacher, I have to be very creative, and I have to be, my curiosity quotient should be very high. So all of you have been using Meet, but all of you said you don't know Jamboard. Jamboard was there the day we started using Meet. It was there since then. So chalo kuch naya kare. Let's pick up something new. Walk the talk. If you lead by example, you can influence policies. If you want your environment to change, if you want your institute to support you, changing the learning environment. Remember I said change the song to change the dance. Try in your classrooms first. One success story, take it ahead. Don't fear failure. It might fail also, but still it will teach you. I'm glad I have a lot of classroom stories to share, which was aligned to my subject. It became relevant for other subjects. And thereon, the story is such that I'm in front of you sharing all this. As an innovative teacher, when people talk to me about it, I feel happy that I was practical, or I understood things better, maybe, or I was a little courageous, maybe, I don't know. but I'm very happy that I got this opportunity to share all this with all of you. You can see our activities are there on Facebook, LinkedIn, and here and there. So my students are excited. If you want a LinkedIn story, be a part of Saloni Man's class, or if even if they're not my students, they still attach with some project they like to work with me. For community work, I always involve them in service learning. And technology is a part of my class, not only today, maybe 4 or 5 years back, I started using it, blended learning. I train teachers also. So try and explore apps and use it during your class. For public speaking, I have used an app. I've also, so my translation work, I've also involved my students. Now with my students, very soon I'll be releasing a glossary. So create opportunities for others, only then they will value you. So all the best and God bless you, Najila. Sorry, I may have taken a few more minutes.
That's okay. Thank you, Professor Sinha. We began this faculty development program with Dr. Ramana Prasad, demonstrating ways, to design activity prompts, so that we induce students to be active in class and achieve learning outcomes. We had some theory and some resources also discussed in between in the various sessions. And today it was a befitting finale, actually, with you endorsing the pragmatic approach of applying all these theories with real life examples that you have tried and tested. And this should produce employable youth. Ultimately, it is the student that is central. He or she is central. And that you have clearly demonstrated in your presentation today. Thank you so much. We have a discussion session here today now. You can now unmute yourself, participants, and ask questions if you would like to.
Thank you so much, Najla. And there has...
Yeah, if participants, you need to ask something, you could just unmute yourself one at a time.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for the appreciation. I can see a few.
And I think I'll invite Mr. Rafiq Q, IKC coordinator of Majlis College.
And okay, my club is Majlis.
Okay.
My theatre club is Majlis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think someone is speaking.
Hello.
Yeah, Professor Rafiq.
Myself, Rafiq P, assistant professor and IKC coordinator of Majlis Arts and Science College.
I can't hear very well.
That is a bit low in voice. Rafiq sir, could you just speak a bit louder, please?
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, myself Rafiq. I'm assistant professor of Majlis Arts and Science College. I'm the IKC coordinator of Majlis 2.
Wow.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. First of all, let me thank Professor Saloni, ma'am, for a wonderful session. Actually, it was actually sitting in a class because of your maybe because of your theatric skills, I think. We feel actually sitting in a class, definitely. It's really from the deep of my heart. Actually, given a very interesting session to everyone who presented here. Thank you so much, madam. And okay, we expect more sessions from you because we have got some new words and new keywords relating to the new education policy and new education scenario in the post-pandemic.
Please align, yes. We should all align our activities, and learning by doing is the mantra. Experiential learning is the mantra. So I hope that all our curriculum will be now centered around that. Yes.
Okay, it's a very well presented, madam. You started from the new role of a teacher. That is, you started from the awakener. Awakener style. Actually, I feel that it is a new role. Actually, I've seen awakener role, and you have a slogan that "Chalo kuch na kare." It's very interesting, and let's try something new. Definitely, we teachers will try to do something new. Definitely, after getting energy from this class, definitely we'll do something new.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you so much.
congratulations for becoming a team member in the Prime Minister's translator team. Congratulations for being in
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Anyway, it is outstanding, madam. Outstanding.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the kind words. You're very, very generous, but I'm happy if it added value.
Okay. I would like to congratulate also the team IQAC of MES Kevin College for organizing this program for the Mendi colleges and the other colleges too. I would like to congratulate Dr. C. Rajesh, the principal of principal of MES College, and Dr. Najla T.Y., IQAC coordinator, and the other team of IQAC for organizing this wonderful program for the last 5 days. Every session was outstanding. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Rafiq. Thank you, Sinovani. Thank you, everybody. So we quickly move on to the official vote of thanks. I invite Ms. Fatima Nasrin, Head, Department of Botany, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Saloni Sinha, respected Principal, Dr. C. Rajesh, all participants, including my colleagues and teachers from other colleges, good evening, everyone. Today we have a very informative class from Saloni ma'am. She shared her valuable experience, knowledge, and significant ideas on innovative classroom and best practices. On behalf of MES KVM College and UGC Paramat scheme, I extend my sincere thanks to Saloni ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful interactive session. It is really motivating. I would like to express gratitude to our principal, Dr. C. Rajesh, and IQAC coordinator, Dr. Nachila TY, and organizing committee, and all participants of webinar for making this successful. Thank you all.
Thank you. Right. We now move on to the valedictory session. Thank you, participants. We are concluding today with this formal valedictory session, and I would like to invite Ms. Krishna Prabha, Joint Coordinator of IQC and of this program, to present the welcome address of this session. We are not having any break in between. We would like to conclude all of us together. So I invite Ms. Krishna Prabha.
A warm good afternoon to all our participants. The educational system today are struggling hard to keep in pace with the changes associated with the technological advances. In the current situation, we, the teaching faculty, are forced to employ reforms in our traditional pedagogical approaches and methods through the usage of various ICT tools, digital contents, open resources, blended online teaching learning. The new digital pedagogy needs innovative tools as well as concepts to enrich the learning experiences and the learning outcome. Our 5-day faculty development program has addressed to the needs of the present day teaching community and hope it has benefited all our participants. So now we have reached the concluding section of our 5-day program. So I invite our principal, Dr. Rajesh sir, humbly to this session to preside for the presidential address. He has been here. And I also invite our chairman, Sri O.C. Salahuddin sir, who has consented to deliver the valedictory address. And also I welcome the principals of our mentor colleges, Dr. C.P. Mohammad Gutti sir, Principal of Marcus College, Dr. Mohandas sir, Principal of MES Perintalmanna College, Dr. Anil sir, Principal of KRSN College. And also I extend my warm welcome to our participants who has kindly consented to provide the feedback for this valedictory session. Dr. Priya Gupta and Dr. Lirar. And also I welcome all the participants from abroad from all over India. I welcome all of you to this valedictory session. And now I move on to call our respected principal, Dr. Rajesh sir, to preside over this function. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you. Respected chief guest of today's function, our chairman, Mr. O.C. Salahuddin, and the resource person of the day, Professor Saloni Sinha, and the coordinator of the program, Dr. Najla, and dear participants. We came to an end of the 5-day FDP program, and I would just retake the sentence that our resource person has used. This FDP would be beneficial if you can add value to life, add value to the life of a teacher. Then only this FDP we can say it will be beneficial. And as you said, ma'am, chalo kuch naya karenge. And this for the last 5 days we have deliberated with the different resource persons, different topics starting from effective teaching by Dr. Edamana Prasad from IIT, and after that we had discussed topics on e-learning resources and active learning pedagogy, OER for digital learning, and the excellence in research, and today of course with the innovative classroom practices from Professor Saloni Sinha. And I hope the participants might have been benefited by the deliberations and the resources provided by the experts. And I would like to congratulate the IQAC team of MES KVN College led by Dr. Najla TY and the joint coordinators, Professor Nisab, Professor Krishna Prabha, and Dr. Nabil Rashin. They have worked very hard the last 5 days, especially for the successful conduct of this program. And they were very much active in and they have well organized this program also. And there are some other technical persons behind the successful conduct of this program. Our technical assistants, Sabine and Shahul, and all of these people have worked very hard. And I would like to congratulate these people. And now I would like to invite our chairman, Mr. O.C. Salahuddin, to speak a few words. Sir, can you hear me? Salahuddin? Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, okay. Hello?
Okay.
Principal Dr. Rajesh, IQAC coordinator Dr. Najla, ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന ഫാക്കൽറ്റീസ്, പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ്, മറ്റു സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, വളാഞ്ചേരി MES KVN കോളേജ് IQACയും UGC ധനസഹായത്തോടു കൂടി കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഹയർ സെക്കൻഡറി എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ കൗൺസിലിന്റെ സഹായത്തോടു കൂടി കഴിഞ്ഞ മൂന്നാം തീയതി തുടങ്ങി വെച്ച ഈ ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെ വാലിഡിറ്റി ഫംഗ്ഷന് എല്ലാവിധ ആശംസ നൽകുകയാണ്. ഈ പാൻഡമിക് സമയത്തും ഈ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാം കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്ത കോളേജ് കോർഡിനേറ്റർ ഡോക്ടർ നജ്ലയും പ്രിൻസിപ്പളെയും പ്രത്യേകം പരിഗണിക്കുന്നു.
Thank you, sir. Now, actually, this program is being conducted or organized as a part of the Paramarch scheme of UGC. And under this Paramarch scheme, we have 6 mentee colleges, and we are mentoring these colleges for the NAC accreditation process. And now let me invite Dr. CP Muhammad Gutti, principal of Marcus Arts and Science College, which is one of our mentee colleges, to speak a few words. Sir.
Respected Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Saloni Sinha, Dr. Rajesh, Principal MES KVN College, IQAC team of the college, other dignitaries and participants from various higher education institutions. First of all, let me congratulate the organizers of this week-long program on a relevant topic, especially in a context of serious health crisis and spreading of a new disease. As we know, the COVID-19 outbreak is causing various levels of disruptions in education globally. Actually, the lockdown presents education institution an opportunity to adopt alternative pedagogy that uses technology tools. In this program, different aspects of pedagogy were discussed in detail. A variety of pedagogical approaches are common, but some are more effective and appropriate than others. I hope This week-long webinar program would be helpful for the participants to plan and implement appropriate pedagogy in their teaching methods. I once again appreciate the effort done by MES College team and wish each one of you the success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Mohan Das, Principal of MES Arts and Science College, Perindalmana, to speak a few words about the program.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, sir. Respected principal and ICA coordinators and principals from various colleges, many colleges, and the staff who actually assembled here in Google Classrooms, and our chief guest, Saloni Ma'am, and other dignitaries. Of course, we had a wonderful session for the last 1 week. And the total outcome is how the traditional method is actually obsolete. And we're having with a new method. And that new method is how teaching can be more effective and learning can be more impressive. And how the single institutions of higher education can be improved. See, for all this, we had a wonderful session. See, during this COVID time, college and the principal and the team did a wonderful teamwork for this. And thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Anil, Principal of KRSN College, Valanjeri. Sir.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. Respected Principal Dr. Rajesh, IQC coordinators, and other dignitaries and the participants. I am very happy to know that the MESKVM College had conducted a FDP program on pedagogical approaches and digital tools for effective teaching and learning successfully. And it is great that it was inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Dr. K.T. Jalil. And I can personally understand that it was a very useful FDP program, and it was very useful to the faculties also. Congratulations to all the organizers, especially the team leader, Dr. Rajesh, and expecting more programs like this in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, let us have some general feedback about the program. First, I would like to invite Pragya Gupta, Assistant Professor, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for providing to speak in this august company. When I began attending the sessions since past 5 days, I saw, we have been attending various webinars during this pandemic time. During this lockdown, we were not going to our colleges. And I realized that there were still so many things which we still ought to learn. And the learning, as Dr. Saloni very rightly pointed out, has actually expedited so much to learn and so little time, and we have to quickly adapt to the changing situation, which has now become the new normal. As I look at it, at least, for coming quarter or so, we are still going to be functioning this way, and the more the better. And I really am thankful to the organizing committee to provide with such an enlightening, FDP. And I would look forward to more such sessions in the future also, because sharing is learning, I guess. I mean, this is actually making us all learn so fast, and this collaborative learning is actually helping us out in such a great manner. Thank you so much, sir, for providing this opportunity.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Lirar from MG University.
Thank you, Rajesh sir and team MBS Valanjeri for giving me this opportunity. I hope I'm audible. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Respected Mr. O.C. Salahuddin, Chairman, MES Valanjeri, Dr. Rajesh, the dynamic principal of the college, Professor Saloni Sinha, today is our resource person, Dr. Najila, Mrs. Krishna Prabha, and Nabil Rashin, the vibrant IQAC coordinators of MES, then my fellow enthusiastic participants and other esteemed personalities who attend the validatory session. Good evening, one and all. The 5 days FTP program digital tools for effective teaching learning. This program organized by IQAC MES Valanjiri is about to end, and the task given to me is to say on my feedback or about the program. If I say my feedback very simply and in very short lines, I would say during the 5 days FTP program, what I noticed is active engagement of
of Higher Education for kindly accepting our invitation and inaugurating the 5-day FDP program. I sincerely thank Dr. Rajan Varghese, Member Secretary, Kerala State Higher Education Council, Dr. R. Selvam, Accreditation Ambassador, UGC Paramarsh, and Professor K.P. Hassan, Secretary, MES KVM College, for accepting our invitation and gracing the inaugural function. I am also thankful to Sri Osi Salahuddin, Chairman, MES KVM College, for accepting our invitation and delivering the valedictory address. I would like to thank our Principal, Dr. C. Rajesh, for his constant help and support. I would like to thank Dr. Najila, IQAC Coordinator, for organizing such a wonderful FDP program. I am thankful to Professor Nisab and Professor Krishna Prabha, Joint Coordinators of IQAC. We have been fortunate to have eminent resource persons for various sessions. It is my pleasure to express sincere thanks to our resource persons, Dr. Edamana Prasad, Dr. S. Vincent, Dr. R. L. Bindu, Dr. Sendil Raman, and Professor Saloni Sinha for their wonderful and informative sessions. Dr. Hussein Nandathani, Dr. Santosh Babu, Dr. Muhammad Ali, Dr. U. Shailaja, Dr. Habib Rahman, and Dr. C. Ashraf for chairing different sessions. I wish to extend my deep appreciation to UGC Paramarsh and Kerala State Higher Education Council for approving this FDP program. I thank Dr. Anil, Dr. Mohandas, Dr. C.P. Muhammad Gutti, Professor Pragya Gupta, and Professor Lirar for their kind words and encouragement. I thank all the principals of our many colleges for their interest and support. I take this opportunity to thank Shahul, Sabine, and Abhilash for their technical support. I thank all the participants of the program. Thank you very much for being part of this program.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guests. Thank you, participants. We come to an end of the week-long program. We wanted this FDP to be about the human side, about the pedagogies, about the outcome-based education, about students, rather than just technology, Google Classroom and Google Meets. I hope this has helped, and I can see a lot of you feel that it is. And before we part, I would just like to remind you that please do stay on the WhatsApp group for some more days, for just a few more days, because we would like to communicate with you further about the certificates. And do allow some time for the certificates to reach you. It may take more than a week, because as you may already know, the Kerala State Higher Education Council is organizing this program along with us. Okay, so we need to send the list of the participants and their designations and all the details to the Kerala State Higher Education Department, and only after they approve the list can we issue the certificates. So it may take some time. So please do stay on the WhatsApp groups. Participants, please note. And also, we will be sharing the resources that the speakers have shared with us. So thank you for being on this program. Please do continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And stay well, stay safe. Hope we meet soon. Hey, Najila, how are you?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Saloni. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
See you all.